All right, this is Nathan from the Weekend with the Weebs podcast, and yeah, a lot's been going on. I don't know if my Devil May Cry video over there will be pulled up, but today we're gonna look at something special, I guess you could say. This is the Yael aliens. Aliens come up a lot on this channel, and this is a weird conspiracy thing that I just think is funny. Um, and it's not that I don't think, there's a possibility of extraterrestrial life or anything. It's possible, but that these people just think they know for sure it exists, like 100%, without a doubt, it exists. So today we're gonna look at. I've not previewed this video before, so it's gonna be interesting. But the Yael race, everything you wanted to know. Let's go.
Extraterrestrial race. Who are the Yagyao? Where
Okay,
did they come from? And what is their connection
we're
to
we're
our
starting
planet?
out really good here. Um, it's text to speech, which means it's probably not all too credible, but like it was to begin with. Okay, let's go.
The Yagyao extraterrestrial race, also called by the Sasani race, the Shalamaya, meaning those who will come first, are considered to be the first civilization to make formal third-dimensional contact with Earth humans.
Yeah,
This incredible race is one of the most human-resembling species in the
I
universe. They
I
are
don't
part of
think
our
it
galactic
is.
family
That
and
doesn't
very
look
similar to
human.
us in their physical
I'm
appearance,
I'm
together with the
sorry.
Sasani and the
That's
Pleiadian
like
races.
some cat
The
people stuff.
Yagyao
That's
are
like what
included,
Elon
and
Musk
this
is trying to
causes a
make.
hybrid gene, which
I
considerably
apologize for my
differs from
finger
the
there. I'm
rest of
not used to this
mankind,
recorder.
since our DNA is the primal component in their biological makeup.
Is it?
The most notable
Is it
difference
though?
between Earth humans and the Yagyao is the color and the size of their eyes, being bigger and
Yeah,
with more
you can say
specific
that. This
colors,
is
which
like
are
Alita
rare in
Battle
Earth
Angel
humans.
anime meme.
They look almost exactly like us,
Um,
but there are other Yagyao hybrid civilizations that are part of their collective as well.
okay, they
These
have
are
a
a little more
collective.
different than us in appearance.
See, this
As
is
all
strange. Like,
Yagyalians
there's a whole
share the same
community
DNA structure,
that, like, it's not
the
just a
average
fandom.
Yagyao
Like,
height
it's okay
is
to have a
about 5 and a
fandom,
half feet tall, and their
but
life expectancy is
like
around 300
the
years.
whole thing.
They
Okay,
have
so they're
5
basically
fingers in
elves.
their hands and 4
So the
toes.
whole thing
They
that
have
people
linear, short
actually
legs and large
sit
eyes and
around and
broad
like write
pupils
this
than
lore.
Earth humans.
I think I
The eye
described it
color,
as
in
like
general,
the
is blue,
Warhammer
green,
40k
but
lore
there are
last
other
time.
colors
Like
as well.
this
The
is
Yagyao
insane. This
extraterrestrials
this whole thing is
radiate a
just
very faint
really
golden light,
really
being
weird.
one of the closest relatives we have on an interstellar level. They have a very healthy relationship with their technology. Their DNA makeup is composed by
What is
more
their
than
tech?
one human
See
race,
that
but our Earth human
that
DNA
that's another
has the
thing with
largest
this. Like
percentage of their genetic makeup.
I
This is the reason
don't know.
why they
Like
perceive
they skip
themselves
around.
as the
Like
hybrid children of Earth humans, symbolized as their parents and genetic
this
co-creators.
video is so hard to make.
They are in
Like, cause
fact
I'm
a
trying to be
mix of human
serious,
DNA
but
mixed with a few others
like,
unknown
if this is satire,
extraterrestrial
this whole
races.
thing, I know there's one guy
The
who supposedly
Yagyao
talks to these,
receive enormous
but
heartfelt joy and love
if
for
this
interacting
isn't
with us and
satire,
asking us to come back to our awareness of our
which I'm pretty
unconditionally loving
sure
nature and
it
to
isn't
recognize that we are
satire,
beings that are connected to the infinite.
this is just
In that
weird.
connection, they
I
want us
don't know
to
how else to
understand
put it.
that there are other forms of life, not only that of the Yagyao,
Okay,
Sasani, and Pleiadian human civilizations, but other benevolent
so
civilizations, and that we are
now
part
it's
of
not
this
just
harmonious
these.
galactic family.
Oh, okay.
The Yagyao race can vibrate in the
See,
fourth and fifth dimension. They conceive and give birth to children in the same way as Earth humans.
oh, wait,
Women's
so
pregnancy can last about 7 to 8 months.
they can
They walk,
birth.
they breathe, they eat, they sleep, and they dream together. They value life
Do
and
they poop
themselves, and
together?
they
I
nurture
want to
each
know
other in
that.
all ways that they can, at all times.
You know, I
Beyond
think
Earth civilization,
pooping is a
originated
very
from a
special
distant
thing.
planetary
You know,
location,
a lot of
and they
people will
reside
be
on two
like, no,
planets much
you know,
similar to Earth.
but I
The
think it is.
Ariel did not share the location of their
It's
planet,
it's
so
pretty
we moved to
special.
them, and the only information we have is that one of the two planets is located approximately 4.73 light years
Oh
from
my
Earth.
gosh.
Beyond Yale,
Like, who
states
comes up with
that this
these
information will be
calculations?
presented to us
That's what I want
in
to
the near
know.
future in a timing when we will be able to
What?
actually observe it and confirm it through observation and collaborate the statement made by them regarding the
What?
information they give us. They
What is
decided
this?
not to share their planet's names and locations because at our current development,
Oh, of
we
course
won't be
they've
able to see this planet with our
th-
current technology or travel to
they
the
haven't
planet.
shared them because they
Beyond
don't
Yale
exist.
live in
Mhm.
harmony with their
Mhm.
beautiful planet and all
That's
forms of
great.
life on it. They
Okay.
live in harmony with each other.
I feel like
Beyond
this
Yale are
is
helping
like
us remember how to live in
someone's
harmony with
bad
Earth
fan
and
fiction,
with each other
essentially.
on all levels of our
Because
existence
I
together.
don't think,
In a sense, they
like,
are bringing
what.
timeless
It,
knowledge from outer space
this is a
that will
perfect
help us
example of something
understand
in
the
science we call
permanence
the
of our
confirmation
living space
bias,
and our heart's
which
inner
people
space.
will
They help us realize how
essentially
magnificent and wonderful
find
we can
what they
actually
want
are.
to find.
As the connection
Um,
between LSD
so, for
and
example,
Yale
like, let's
observation
say
unfolds,
anti
we will
vax is a
share
good
more
one. Those
information
people
about their
will
history,
go online
philosophy,
and be
and
like,
more
oh, do
information
vaccines
about
cause
science on
autism?
them.
No,
On
no,
March
no, they don't.
13,
Will always be,
1997,
hopefully, the
there
first
was a
answer on
lunar
Google.
spacecraft,
And then it'll tell, like, a
Mariner,
little bit
that
why
flew
they
over
don't.
Phoenix,
But they'll
Arizona.
scroll the bottom and they'll
This
see something that
phenomenon
says
is known
vaccines cause
as the
autism.
Phoenix
Then
flyby.
that is
The Phoenix
automatically
flyby was a big
their
yes.
first thing they think
Beyond
of,
Yale
right?
know that we are
Um,
still not ready for a direct third dimensional contact with
so
another
this I feel like is the
extraterrestrial
same
race,
thing. Like,
so to
with
speak in
this
their
is
terms,
perfect.
to make
This,
themselves
like,
known by
thing that
greeting
flied
outsiders
over
with friendly UFO sightings.
with friendly.
During that event, they gave thousands of people across the state of Arizona in North America a spectacular light show in the sky,
See,
and there's even a video for anybody who missed it.
It is the most famous so-called UFO
see,
sighting
I
in
feel
the
like
world. Phoenix
this is the type of stuff, like, if you put in "Are aliens real?"
Can you believe a kid 7
Like,
years
and
old
I
can
can't
talk
confirm or deny that, but you're gonna find there's people who will just take this and they'll run with it. And then what happens is they build this narrative, right? So that could have just been like some military flight or something. I don't know. Like, they could have been flying over. Who knows? It could have been aliens, but they'll see that and they'll have that belief in their mind, oh, this is aliens. So they'll take that, they'll run with it, and then they'll publish stuff. And eventually, this story will become more than just we saw a UFO to we have this entire lore of these Yael aliens, which isn't true because it's it's just not like you can't like you can't without scientific hardcore proof, and Googling isn't scientific hardcore proof. You can't just say these are, like real. It's just weird to say that. Um, like, am I excluding maybe there are aliens? No, but it's like you wouldn't be able to without physically seeing it in a scientific way be able to say this is them essentially.
It had these beautiful, it had these lights in front, and then it was totally illuminated underneath like a yellow
It's
energy, and it was a total rounded vision.
just so silly.
I didn't want to stop watching it, and then by the time I got out with the camera, it got out of
It's
the house, and we kept watching
see,
it.
and the thing is, like, this was a different time, so people weren't taking pictures. It just the whole thing is so silly. Cause like that could literally be anything, and then you know, they put up like those videos where like that looked like the CGI. Like that could have been something, but it's CGI. It's fake. You know, people are just writing this narrative because they want to write this narrative. It's not even something like a religion that has, you know, some kind of proven psychological effect. You know, I think like, you know, religion's real, but, you know, I can't scientifically prove it. But this is like, this is different, you know, like there isn't any psychological benefit to this.
They are spiritually advanced and highly telepathic. It is easy for them
And
to
to the
pick
thing,
up
like,
on our mental callings, and many
we
would
do
belong
not,
to the Young Collective, interacting with us through a process.
there has been
Our
like no
channeling.
psychological study
This is a
on
process,
any
a
telepathy.
interface between our
We do
human
not,
medium and the
that stuff, as
extraterrestrial
far as we
which
know,
allows
has
telepathic
never
communication
existed.
and exchange of
So, you
information.
know, it's like,
This is the
that's a
Young Yell symbol,
pseudoscience, essentially.
which
There's
we use to
parapsychology, but
access
that's
the Young Yell
recognized as a
Collective
pseudoscience,
consciousness.
really.
By
Um,
focusing or
but
meditating on this symbol,
from
you
most
will
sources
embody
you'll
its
see.
colors
So it's
and
like,
connecting with them. As
this is what I
empaths, we
find
now
funny.
have
They
access
believe by
to
looking at
what
a
no other
triangle,
can
you
be
can, for long
established
enough,
as long as
you
we
can
are in a
communicate
conscious
with them.
mind and on a high enough frequency
It's
to achieve the
just
contact.
doesn't, the whole thing
They
is
chose
just
this
weird.
symbol because it represents the
It's
idea
so
of a
weird.
triangle. A triangle is commonly used among beings in the universe as the fabric of our creation is literally built on the Platonic
See,
side
I feel
known as
like
the tetragrammaton. This is why the
this is
Society
delving into
also
a
uses
lot
the
of
triangle as their
occult
symbol.
almost, because
They have
whenever
chosen triangles
triangles, you
as
know,
unfinished
people freak
and
out.
incomplete. They
Um,
say it symbolizes the
it's
idea
just a
that they will
triangle.
not be complete until they are reunited with their human family, which is not only us, the Earth humans, but also other human races. If you
It's,
often see the symbol in
this
meditation,
is just
deep
like,
mindful states, or astral projections, you may be connected in
this is
some
just
way
so weird.
with the Yag-Yell collective
I don't know how
consciousness
to
on a much
describe it, you
deeper
know.
level than usual. Although there are many methods of communication with them, the main method, and
It's,
perhaps
I
the
feel like
only
these are all
method
deviant art
possible at this
images
time of
too.
history, is through channeling.
My gosh.
One of the most recognized Yag-Yell channelers is Sean Swanson.
This is the guy.
Sean channels the Yag-Yell
He
representative
like
called Osiris
talks
in
through
preparation
them.
for the future Yag-Yell
It's
arrival
weird.
on Earth.
And
Being channeled by Sean
the
and
whole
his
thing
fellow
is just like
channelers
so,
is a large amount of the
so
information
weird. I
code
can't
on
even
the
wrap
Yag-Yell
my
race.
mind around this. It's like,
There are other channeling members of the Yag-Yell
like,
civilization who are happy to give us information
I love how these
and
are like
help in
Sims
our
CGI
and
images
spiritual
too.
growth, and simply to
This is
exchange
like
knowledge
Sims
about
2
us
quality.
while receiving information about their society,
Oh my
and we, on the
gosh.
other hand, giving them information about our
This
own.
is
Although there are
like,
different
and two,
Yag-Yell
the whole thing,
representations
they're
for
a
sure,
completely
the only
peaceful
one
thing.
that people really know
I
well
can tell
and are
you
most
there is
popular at this
no
time.
species on
Through
Earth,
this Yag-Yell
like, unless
representative,
there's some
called
weird,
Kirill, we learned that the
that
Yag-Yell
does not
race
show
are
aggression.
descendants of some of our ancestors that
It's
left our planet
it's just
thousands
weird.
of years
There
ago,
is
perhaps after the
impossibly
fall
no
of
way.
Atlantis or Lemuria,
Oh,
or even way before, when
oh,
the
now
humans
Atlantis
collected
is okay.
mankind. Here is a
Okay.
channeled message
Where,
from a
see,
Yag-Yell
this reminds
representative.
me of, yeah, it's like almost a
Your
new
race
age
has lived
occult kind of
long
thing where
and
it's
has
like
journeyed, and
people
nearly all of
take
you
the red
have
pill and they
lived
know
a
this,
bumpy ride,
and the
as you
dangerous
have
part about that
experienced
is
along the way.
it
We hope
combines a
that
lot
many
of
of you
different
find
things, and
and
you can't
somehow
just take a bunch
can
of
see
different,
into
you
the
know,
future. We know that our
symbology
research
and
to
put
this
it
end
together and
has
say
been
it's
very
superior
negative.
because
In
we
fact,
shoved it all
among the
together.
most
Like
negative
shoving a
and people
plane, a
and
train, a
most
car
advanced in this
is going to
research
create a
field.
crash. It's not just going to make some
The
great
immense
thing, you
millions of
know?
our fellow brothers and sisters are called the masters of limitations because there is nothing you know
Where do
better
they get
than
these
to limit
quotes?
yourselves. Yet we call you masters because to all of us, you are masters and heroes. We admire you, not because of your
What
nature,
the
but
heck?
because who you are and all the positive things you do, despite the darkness you live in.
What?
All of you living at Earth at this time has chosen to experience this reality that will transform to one of the biggest
This
changes
is
and shifts in
this is
creation
just
at this
weird.
time.
Like,
There
where
is
do they
no
get
describing how brave
these,
you are for
you
choosing this
know,
task. We admire you for doing this. You are helping so
quotes?
many other beings by doing this. Others that also live on negative worlds.
You know,
We show you to them, and they see
this
that
is
you can do
just,
the most unbelievable things. For what you are doing,
it's just
going into the
weird.
darkest of darkness and stepping out to the lightest of light.
I mean, I guess
Your
it's not
world
a
is unique.
bad
There have been
message,
similar worlds like yours that has experienced
but
almost the same level
like
of
the factor
devastation, like the
that
fact
people
that now the asteroid belt
make
inside your
this,
solar system
like
and the
they
planet Mars,
they write
those worlds
this,
destroyed themselves.
it just,
But the Earth
and
cannot
this is
possibly
something that,
will
you know,
die.
happened over
The
like
reality
20
of which we are
years,
speaking to you,
probably,
for in the
like
future, you will concern your
maybe
civilization,
50,
and
or
has
well,
now
I
started.
need to
In the
look into
year
that,
2012,
but
you have reached the
I don't know how long this has been going. I just recently heard about it,
7 billion
but
people, and you
the
are now
storyline's
more
not even
populous
100
than
years old.
anything.
Like something like, you know,
Over 50%
a
of the
religion
population
that
is
has like
positive.
like,
Remember,
you
this
know,
is a choice we can all make.
it
Even in this
builds
world, we
over a
cannot
long
always be
time, and
positive.
to be
How do we
honest,
do
like
this?
things like the
First, we
Bible have
become a
stayed
paradise.
pretty
This is
similar.
the
There's been
reality
cuts, there's
that you
been
are going into
additions
now.
in a
There
way,
may be many
but
bumps along
it's
the
not
way,
like
but
a
you've
total
gotten
different
experiences
translation.
so many times
Um
before, and you always knew how to handle them.
this is like just someone
And
writing
remember,
it, and
you
there's
can
like
also
I'm
have a trusted
communicating
journey as
like
well, going with the
with
flow.
some
You
great
don't have
being
to
or something.
struggle, but many may prefer struggle,
I
since in the end, it teaches them a great lot.
I don't
And
know.
when the
This
time
whole
is
thing
ready,
is
we will
just,
join you in your journey,
this is
living
like a
alone,
novel.
for rearing
Like
children, and others as
I
well. There
see.
are so many
I don't
incarnations out
know.
there, curious about you, that also want to meet you, to be
This
with
is just
you, to
so
learn from you, and you learn from them.
so weird.
And your own ancestors will join you too. We believe that this interaction will happen in the near future. We do not set a date, because a prediction and prophecy are a sensing of your energy, and your energy is changing all the time.
So that's one
If
thing
you
with
say
this. Like,
we will be here in 2020, your energy will probably change through that time,
oh my
and we might
gosh.
come sooner or later. When the time is ready, there will be mass landings, but we do not wish to
See,
land when you are in a state where it will
this
create
is
panic and turmoil. When the time is ready, we will know
so
and
weird
heal you.
because like
One of
every
the
other
things we find
religion
very
clearly
odd about you
states when
humans
something's gonna
is that
happen.
many
Like
of you do know how to heal
Revelations in the
yourself,
Bible,
and
it
what we
tells
do
you what's
we
gonna
find this
happen,
very
and
odd,
that's
because
up
in
to
our world, and many
interpretation.
others,
But these guys
people
are just like,
appreciate
we
themselves and
might,
others
we
as
might not
well.
come,
It's impossible for us
we
not
might
to
not
choose life.
come.
You
I
might
don't
think,
know.
why should
Maybe
we choose
tomorrow.
life
Like,
for things we do not
there's no
like or
certainty with
understand?
this, which just
Why?
shows
Why you
it's
even do something
false. And
that you do not like?
if you're
But
gonna
still,
lie about
why make
something,
yourself uncomfortable
then
for yourself?
be confident about it.
We
You know?
understand that the energy on your world is still low, but remember that you can always put yourselves in a higher energy if you so wish. And by appreciate yourselves is the best way to do it. For why shouldn't you appreciate
Wait,
yourself? We know that many
I'm not
humans
gonna
really
correct
want to be
grammatical errors,
happy,
but there was
but we
one in
don't
there.
really need it. Appreciation is easy. We would advise
This
each
is
and
like,
every one of you to do this now.
holy.
Sit down in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and appreciate yourselves. Appreciate every
Okay,
joyful
so this is
moment of
just,
your life. Let go of all your negative
this
experiences in
is
the mental.
basically just
You do not
meditation
need to
101.
steal yourself through makeup.
This,
Appreciate who you are.
okay.
Appreciate the fact
So what
that
they're
you
trying to
are
play off
powerful
of
and
is, I
intelligent
think they're
and
trying to
magnificent
say,
for being born upon this world.
meditation is another form of
We
consciousness,
appreciate you more
essentially.
than
It's like
anyone
being
else.
hypnotized,
For
or
if
it's
it
like,
wasn't for you,
I don't
we
want to say
wouldn't
doing
be
a drug,
talking to
but
you
it's
right
like,
now.
like
We
drugs
offer
is
you
a state, you know,
unconditional
an
love.
altered
You
state
and many other
consciousness.
beings will
Sleep
appreciate you
is,
forever and ever.
there's different
And
ones.
therefore, guys, we
Meditation is
appreciate
one.
yourselves as well.
Now, a lot of weird
We are
things can
connected
happen in
to our family.
meditation,
There is so much we want to show
but,
you when the
and
time is
a lot of
ready.
that can be
We are all looking
mistaken,
forward to that day. Until then,
as
we will
these
have
great
so many different
experiences.
contacts with those you
Um,
meet with, and we
but
will be in your dreams if you
I
ever wish to talk to us.
will be in your dream. Okay, so they're essentially saying
Thank
things
you
can
for
happen
watching.
in
Please
alternate
subscribe
states of
and click the
consciousness,
notification button
but
to get
they're
notified of our
cracking
future
up to the
videos.
aliens. That's why it's important to know the like different sciences behind this. I don't know. And of course, we get the other recommended videos here, but oh my gosh. This whole thing. This whole thing right here. I just don't know how to feel about it. It's so weird and it's so bizarre and my gosh. This is the world we live in. Um I think it is easy to fall for a lot of this. And why I say that is because people aren't educated in a lot of things. So, for example, like the scientific method, you would know, okay, there's a hypothesis. This definitely has a hypothesis, right? For those of you who don't know what that is, that's an educated guess. And they can be anything, really. Like, for example, if I throw a ball, it will float. It's a hypothesis. But then you move to experimental design with that, and you say, I'm gonna throw a ball, and the dependent variable is going to be, does the ball float or not, and the throwing's gonna be the independent. Obviously, because of gravity, it's gonna hit the ground. It's not just gonna float up into space. Now that's a law. You can't. Gravity is not going to be like, oh hey, I got a message. That's a fun app. It's just like a friend making app. But yeah. So yeah, no, just a lot of people don't know that, and that's the problem. Like, you can test things, and this just can't be tested. They have the hypothesis, but it's like, how are you going to carry it out? There's looking for the investigating for these evidences, which is using the confirmation bias, is what it is. Because they're not saying, one thing is you have to have a falsifiable study. So you want to look at something and you want to say, hey, how can I disprove this wrong? And that's going to improve your credibility if you can do it. Now, what they're doing is they're just taking it and saying, like, oh, this confirms aliens, this confirms aliens, this confirms aliens, this confirms aliens, which isn't the way to go. If they'd be more scientific about it, they'd say, okay, my hypothesis says aliens are real. That is what I'm going to believe. These EILs are real. So what am I going to do? I'm going to find everything that proves they can't exist. And then once you do that, then you'll know. Then you'll know. That'll give you your answer. Because then what you'll do from there is you'll take your variables, see if there's any conditions that those actually work under. Like, you have to think about it logically. You can't just use confirmation bias and say, because it's on the internet, because it's on Google, this is the right way. That's how a lot of things, and it's sad because people find that and they'll be like, it can be used in dangerous ways too. Like, a lot of hate groups and whatnot will use it because they'll just be like, hey, we did this study and it showed this, or they'll say, this is the fact, you take it, here you go. And people won't actually go do the research and look into why their viewpoint is wrong, and it's just a bunch of gibberish, essentially. You need to take into account, the whole story. You need to think things through for your own. I think, if anything, that's what we should be teaching in schools, to think things through for your own, because that's how, like, stuff like flat earth forms. It's like, there's ways, like, and that even claims to be scientific, because there's like, oh, the ground I walk on is flat, thus it's flat. And we all know that's wrong because of calculation, the study that shows, otherwise we're just living day to day. You gotta take what history's taught, what we have recorded. That's the best gift we have as humans. We can take things, we can record it, and then that can be passed down to later generations. Even if it's just some short story, someone's gonna find that someday and be like, hey, this was some cool shit. Well, anyhow, that's my TED talk. I'll see you next time.